NBA fans. What's up, NBA fans? Welcome back to episode 21 of Off the Dribble. Today we're going to be continuing our segment where we are ranking every position in the league, and we're going to be ending that segment off today by doing our top 12 centers in the league. And then after that, we're going to shift our focus a little bit into the NBA schedule because that was recently released. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that and kind of touch on if we think there were certain teams that got too much hype by getting too many nationally televised games, or if there were teams that we feel like were a little unrecognized as well. So we're just going to jump right into our top 12 centers, and Aashrith's going to start us off.
Yeah. So at number 12, on some lists that I've seen online, like this guy is a lot higher, but for me, I think 12 is good. I have Miles Turner here at 12.
Oh, wow.
And like if you look at the names above him, which we'll get into, I just think everyone else I'd rather have on my team. Like Miles Turner, like really good sort of like 3-and-D big, kind of like the only big I can think of in the league that gives you like that elite level of 3-point shooting and that elite level of interior defense. I think I think we see that Wemby's probably going to get there at some point too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think he's a little too inconsistent for my liking. Like a lot of the lists we've done so far, we've kind of used inconsistent as that sort of like buzzword, right? Where like if they don't give it to you night in and night out. But I think Miles Turner's highs, like as far as how good he can play, is that of like a top like 8 center. But I think like at the like center is looking underratedly deep position, and I think that in this league I might have him like I think 12 is a good spot for me.
I have him pretty decently higher actually. So for 12, I have Nick Claxton.
Okay.
He actually recently also just got paid a bag in Brooklyn too. So kind of like he kind of deserves to be on this list. Just kind of barely making the. For me, it was between him and DeAndre Ayton to put on the list, and Ayton didn't make my list. I don't know if he's on yours or not.
No, he's
but yeah. But he puts up pretty like decent numbers. It's 12 points a game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and like almost like a block and a half a game on 30 minutes a game. And he plays pretty consistently, and he's a very good rim protector and a really good lob threat, and he just has really good motor, and he's kind of just like that prototypical athletic center. And I feel like he's just going to keep progressing. And now like there's really no one on Brooklyn other than Cam Thomas, so you can kind of see that progression for him going further throughout his next couple seasons.
Yeah, Claxton was one of those where like at the end I kind of debated putting him like in the somewhere, but didn't necessarily make the cut. So for 11, I have Jarrett Allen, and he's probably the most one-dimensional player on this list. Like he hasn't really shown the ability to kind of stretch the floor yet. But one area where I think Jarrett Allen has really shown a lot of improvement is the defensive end. And like when you look at him play, like if you don't really watch basketball, I kind of think of him as like this kind of stoic presence that like isn't really able to move. But he's sort of in that like Brook Lopez mold of like bigs that can play at the rim and like really impact games. He has the same odds as Lou Dort to win Defensive Player of the Year. Lou Dort's one of the best defensive players in the league. So that it's pretty high praise from like sort of the betting odds that like he has the same odds as him and like a little less than Alex Caruso. So that sort of showing on the defensive end along with like his consistent around the rim presence, like it's hard to find players like that in the league. So and I just think he gives it to you like more night in night out than the players underneath him, and he still has a lot of room to improve. I kind of like the idea of him adding a 3-point shot. He's kind of discussed it in the offseason. And if he adds that, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I just have him a tad bit higher on my list, but for number 11, I have Naz Reid. He just won 6th Man of the Year, and his stats are actually pretty like he only plays 24 minutes a game, and he averages 14 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, and a block a game on 41% shooting from deep, and then also shooting 48% from the field. Like when you have two, especially on the Timberwolves, like you have 2 centers that are shooting 40% from deep, that's pretty crazy. And then on top of that, like he's like a guard in a 6'10", 6'11" body. Like he's a center. He's listed as a center, but when you watch him play, like he can handle the ball so well, and that's a skill that centers usually don't have, and just him having that just takes his game to another level. Like he can run the fast break. He can go coast to coast. He's done it so many times. He did it. There's like this one play that comes to my mind in the playoffs where like you literally see him go coast for coast against the Suns, and he basically just brings the ball up over Bradley Beal's head and like wraps it over. Like you don't see a 6'10", 6'11" player doing that. So just with the numbers he puts up, him winning Sixth Man of the Year, again, I feel like he could take that award next season as well. Like he's just going to keep getting better and better. He's really young as well. He's only 24, 25 years old. So yeah. And I also think like he did kind of get a bag last season. It was like a 4-year, $52 million deal. I think he's very, very underpaid. Like I feel like next season he's going to opt out of his player option, and then the Wolves are going to be forced to pay him a lot more money. So yeah,
I agree.
I have him at number 11.
He just missed my list as well, but he's one of those players that like he's so valuable for like a Wolves team that's going to contend for like a lot of years. So at 10, I have Alperen Şengün.
Okay.
And like I don't know if it's just a product of me being like chronically on Twitter, but like he's starting to get a little overrated for my liking.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, like the Jokic comparisons are a little too far fetched. Yeah, in my opinion, but that like nothing to take away from him as a player. Like 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. There's only like so many players in the league that are able to put those numbers up. And on a horribly mismanaged Rockets team for the past like couple years, like he should have been their focal point from day one.
Yeah.
Like, but Steven Silas is actually like engaging in terrorism for like a year, and then like Ime Udoka is kind of like pushed the initiative to get Şengün the ball more often. A lot of their action, a lot of the way their offense even runs is through him and like how his decision making and his ability to create offense, which is really rare for a center. And if he gets his 3-point efficiency up, he's around 28, 29%, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets that up, again, he can be one of those players that like a force to be reckoned with. But he's like incredibly immobile on defense. The foot injury from last season like concerns me just a little bit about like future mobility.
Yeah, you see it affecting. You can see it affect a lot of players too. That kind of injury.
Exactly, but like, and I think like the players above him just impact the game in like a lot more ways. But like he's like a rare type of player in terms of his vision.
Yeah, that's a great take. I just have him again a tad bit higher than you. So for number 10, I have Jared Allen. You already kind of just touched on him. Like again, like he is a very great defender, but I don't understand why his odds are that high. Like he's not like one of the best defenders in the league by any means, but he is a very, very great rim protector. Kind of, you do want to see him go out on the perimeter a little bit more. And like you said, I want to see him kind of maybe dabble into that 3-point shot, because you want to, as years go on, like, and I hate to say it, like there's going to come a point in time where in like the next 4 or 5 years where it's going to be a requirement for a center to at least be able to shoot 30 to 33% from 3. Like if you can't do that, like you're not going to be evolving with the game, because now in today's NBA, you need as much spacing as possible on the floor, because players aren't accustomed to operating when the lanes are so jam packed that like they're not used to it. So like teams need centers that can shoot, and he has a pretty good mid range. Like I've seen him take like decent mid range shots. He has a floater that he can take outside of the paint a little bit. So if he just, like you said, extends his range to the 3-point line, and I didn't know that he actually discussed that during the offseason. So if it's pretty intriguing and gives confidence to me that like him saying that he's going to actually try and do that during the season.
Kind of like Derek Lively. Like you kind of like Derek Lively's form is a lot better than Jared Allen's, but like you kind of see it, like you can kind of envision it happening, but like like Lively's also more likely to do it. But number 9 is a player that I consider power forward for like most of his career, but like for this team he plays center, so I guess it's apropos to rank him here. But I have Porzingis here at 9, and like though I think like he's become so underrated throughout it's because of how he played in Washington. Like I like my second ever NBA game was I went to Capital One Arena to go watch the Wizards play the Thunder, and like it was Bradley Beal versus Shea essentially, And like Porzingis by far was the best player in the Wizards that day. Like he was terrorizing our centers in the paint. And like I was thinking in my head, I was like, there's no way that like a player like this is wasted away in a franchise like this stupid. So like thankfully Boston came calling. And like you could see a lot of his value for Boston on the defensive end. Like as good as Drew Holiday and Derek White are defensively, like a lot of like their ability on defense is predicated upon the fact that Porzingis has them on the blunt, has them on the weak side, and his shot blocking ability and like mobility is so like unique to like a 7'2", 7'3" player.
Yeah.
So I have him here. He would be higher honestly, but his injury history is so like it's so high that it's hard for me to rank him above the players I have above him. But like in terms of like the shooting and defense, like there's probably very few people that are better.
When I was doing my power forward list, I didn't know whether to put Porzingis. When I was doing my center list, I didn't know whether to put Porzingis either, so I didn't add him on either list. But like he's kind of that player to me where like I don't know, he's not a center, he's not a power forward. He would just like play both. He'll do whatever you really want him to do. But again, like he's exactly what the Celtics need. Like you saw him in the games he played in the finals. Like he was like amazing. Like the first game back after such a serious injury, you come and do that for your team, and then ultimately you go on and win an NBA championship. Like that shows how valuable you are to your team. So for number 9, I have Sengun.
Okay.
You already kind of touched on him again. Like I think he is getting a little bit overhyped. Like that baby Jokic comparison, like you can see the similarities in the passing a little bit, but I feel like offensively he's not as dominant. Like he's not. I feel like if he is fully the 100% focal point of the offense and all possessions and all plays run through Sengun, you could see his stats go up a little. And again, he's already averaging like 21, like 5 assists a game, something around there. Like those are amazing stats. Not a lot of players in the league do that. But he also can't play defense at all. Like he's a brick. He's like a traffic cone on defense. Like he doesn't have the foot speed to even keep up with some of the centers in the league. And it's like you can't, as a center, you have to be, he's not a great rim protector either. So as a center, you should be able to kind of choose your poison. Like you're either going to be a really good rim protector or you're going to try and go out on the perimeter and then have people go and then run people off 3-point line. Like you got to pick and choose. And he's not really doing either one. So that's why I have him at 9.
Fair. At number 8, I have future number 1, Chet Holmgren. And I think, honestly, like it took every like restraint in the world not to put him higher, but like the bias had to be stopped at some point. So I think Chet Holmgren, like he kind of showed you how good he was going to be in a few years. The first like 20-25 games of the season, he shot 50-40-90. And like, I think it was him, J-Dub, and Shea for the first like 20 games, and then Shea and J-Dub even further, were all 50-40-90 for like the first like half of the like first like portion of the season. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And like he tailed off, especially free throw shooting wise. He was horrendous from the free throw line down the stretch. He got all the way down to 78%. But it was that sort of offensive versatility that really showcased like how like the league is transitioning with him and Wemby. Yeah. And I think the game that really showed it to me, because in the beginning it was hard for me to envision a world where he'd be able to like keep up defensively with like guarding like the Embiids, the ADs. Like he got hurt like in a pro-am game against LeBron when LeBron trucked him. Like that was scary for Thunder fans. But he said it best like in an episode of like Paul George's podcast like yesterday. He was like they all said that I couldn't guard Embiid. Like who really can guard Embiid? And really that's the truth. Like all these concerns about like skinny players in the post, but like Embiid's doing it to anyone. Like there's no there's no size requirement. Like, like the result's going to be the same, you know?
Exactly.
So and he was top 3 in most people's defensively geared ballots midway through the season before again he tailed off. So I think like with the second season sort of being the sort of conditioning help for him, and I think he's going to be a lot more consistent throughout the season. I think top 5 is an understatement for how good he can be. And it was that Warriors game that when he scored, like when he had 36 and like the game tying shot to send it overtime, that I was like, wow, this guy's a player. Like he's going to be,
he knows how to do it.
His ceiling might be higher than Shea's.
Yeah. So for me, I have him like one spot above. I have him at 7. And for 8, I have Rudy Gobert. I just think that's the kind of like the perfect spot to put Gobert. Like he's a 4-time defensive player of the year. As of right now, last time I saw, he's second in winning the odds for next season. Like obviously Wemby's number one, so he has a pretty decent chance of winning it again. And I feel like Gobert's not going to regress for like another 3-4 years, because if you really think about it, in the league, other than LeBron and a lot of other players, Gobert is one of the players in the league who's really, really good at taking care of his body. Like when you look at Gobert, like bro is absolutely jacked, and he has like 8 to 9% body fat, and that's on like a 7-footer. And like he takes care of his body so well that I don't see, and the skills that he has on the basketball court, like I don't see those skills regressing. He's still going to be a great lob threat for another 2 to 3 years, even if he's not a defensive player of the year winner. He's going to be a defensive player of the year caliber type defender, and that's exactly what the Wolves need as their center. They don't need a center that has to go out there and give you 20 points. He'll go out there, give you your 12 to 13 points, a great rebounder, top 5 rebounder in the league, an amazing offensive rebounder, kind of just keeps possessions alive, which is huge for teams, because if you outlast teams possession-wise in the game, that basically just means you have more chances to score the ball. And that just means you have a chance to outscore the other team and ultimately win the game. So, like, just kind of like the perfect player that the Wolves kind of need, and I just don't really see him regressing further in the season.
Yeah, and I think we just have Gobert and Chet flipped. I have Gobert at 7.
Yeah.
And like you covered most of Gobert, so like I'll just go on to 6 because like I have nothing really to add to like how like he's gonna be that sort of like defensive player for time to time. So, and you said you had Chet at 7, right?
7, yeah. I had Chet at 7, so you could just move on to 6.
Yeah. So 6. This is shocking too, because you said that you had Miles Turner a little higher, which means Miles Turner is better.
No, I had to change my list a little bit. So Miles Turner got booted. Yeah, Miles Turner got booted. Booted, bro.
So number 6. This is where this can honestly be low, which is a little scary, but I have Wemby at 6. And
oh wow.
I think this is more so like respect. I think our top 3 is the same. I think.
No, I don't think our top 3 is the same.
Okay. That's crazy. Okay.
I'll just tell you right now, I have Wemby at 3, so.
Oh my god. Okay, then I hope you forgot someone. Okay, whatever. But like what the hell? Okay. So I have Wemby. I have Wemby at 6. And this is more so respect to like there are 5 players above him that have had like better like NBA resumes than Wemby so far.
Yeah.
And like a lot of it
is the same at least.
Huh?
Hopefully the 5 players are the same at least.
Yeah, bro. Oh my god. Okay. So like I kind of want to just move on now. I want to know who you have. Okay, so Wemby is like you see the ceiling of him is like the greatest of all time, like genuinely. Like he could really be that player that sort of transitions like that's sort of like that Steph Braun like sort of generational talent that like transitions the game from like year to year. Like you need those kind of players to carry the league, like Luka, like those kind of players that make people excited to watch basketball. And like no matter like how like knowledgeable you are at like basketball in general, you know who Wemby is, or you've seen like the 7'4" monster that like like handles the ball, shoots step back threes, like he has a couple under the rim finishes. Like it doesn't even like his body like contorts in like such weird ways for like a 7'4" player. Dude. Like it doesn't make it's like scary. Like the league is in trouble. Like he's one of those players who like at the end of the season could easily be a top 10 player in the league. And that's in his second year. I think the last time we said that's even possible is probably LeBron James. And like that's like when you're mentioned in the same conversation as LeBron for anything, like like you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So I'll let you speak more on Wemby because I guess you have him ahead of like a one heavy hitter at least. But who do you have at 6?
At 6, I have Sabonis.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that too low for you?
Yes.
Wow. I'm not a huge fan of Sabonis. Like I don't know. Like the Kings are always like the Kings have such a good roster and they're always so mid that like somebody has to be doing something wrong, or like no matter how good your stats are, like they have to be half at least some kind of empty stats, because the Kings are always in that like 8 to 6 range, and they never end up doing anything. Like last time, they didn't even make the playoffs. Like it's you have De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis on your team. Like you should be able to do something. And Sabonis, like don't get me wrong, he's a great rebounder, a great passing is amazing. He's like probably a top 3 passer as a center. He could score the ball. He's not like an amazing 3-point shooter, but he can make open 3-point shots. Like it's not something that like he can't do. But like at the same time, like I just think the 5 people I have above him are just better in like a lot of categories. And at the same time, I wouldn't say he's a below average defender. He's like a decent defender. Like
Hey, he got top 3 on someone's defensive player of the year ballot, actually.
that's so
So
crazy, bro. How you get top 3 isn't like that means you had Bam over him. Like you had him over Bam or something. Like what?
Yeah.
I don't understand where the thinking is there. But I
Yeah.
just think the other five people on my list are just like better than him.
Yeah. Speaking of Bam, I have him at 5.
Okay, I think we both have Bam at 5.
Yeah. So I have Bam at 5, and like I think like over the past like few episodes, like I think the viewers can see how high I am on Bam. Like I like like he's one of my favorite players in the league. Like he has actual guard skills as a big that just like the Heat just refuse to use. He has a pure jump shot, which they also refuse to use. Like they start using him as like a lob threat, which is like it really upsets me because like, when he takes like mid-range jump shots, like people get confused. Like he can really shoot the ball, and the form is pure. Like you can see when he shoots. I think the biggest indicator of how good someone is as a shooter is how they shoot at the line, and like he's trash. And but like he's gonna win Defensive Player of the Year this year, in my opinion. Like he genuinely has like 1 through 5 versatility. Like he's gonna impact the game in so many different ways. If Jimmy Butler actually stays on the court, then I think that he can do like big things this season, as they always do when Jimmy Butler's on the court. So like, yeah, I think I can't speak glowingly enough about Bam.
Yeah. So I also have him at 5. Like you kind of touched on everything. Like mainly his defensive versatility is what impresses me the most. Like your ability to guard 1 through 5. Like that's such a big and skill. Like that's such a really good skill to have in the NBA, especially where like defense does lack at certain points in the league. So having that versatile of a player on your team, like that could change the course of your team like for a long time.
Yeah. And 4, I have Sabonis.
Okay.
And like he gets so much disrespect, bro. Like his numbers are absurd. Like I think I forgot his double streak exactly, but I think he had 67 straight doubles or something. Like it's so hard to do like something like that 10 times in a row in the NBA, let alone like every single night. He's a guaranteed bet. Like people on the podcast I assume already know. Like I'm a gambling heavy kind of guy. Like I'll bet, and like I've made so much money off the Sabonis over on rebounds. Like he's just a double waiting to happen. And like I think you said top 3 big man passer. I think he's the second best big man passer in basketball.
Yeah.
Like Jokic is like a far ahead one, but like he's an easy number 2 for me. And like this past season, like almost 20 points a game, like 14 rebounds a game, and 8 assists. Like you're not really getting too much better than that. 60% from the field and 38% from 3. Like his talents are almost wasted on a city like Sacramento. Like he'd be so much better on like literally any other like team in the West. And like he gets super underrated in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion. Now I want to know who you have at 4, because like
at 4 I have AD.
Bro, you can't tell me that Wemby's better than AD, bro. That's crazy. You said AD is better than Embiid.
I think Wemby's gonna have a better season than AD next year.
But you said AD is better than Embiid.
Yeah, but Embiid's gonna go out. That doesn't mean that AD is gonna go out there and stay healthy for more than 50 games. Like, is that gonna happen? No.
He's played 75 last season.
Yeah, but bro, it's still like half the games he was limping every single time he was on the court.
Guys, this is a perfect chance for the viewers to comment. Who do you think is better at basketball, Anthony Davis or Wembanyama, as of today in like August 2024?
But these standings are for the 2024-2025 season. So I think that Wemby's going to be better than AD next season. I don't think that's a hot take. I think Wemby's
that's a hot take, bro.
Wemby's going to be top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. He could probably
AD could also be top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting.
Nah, he's not gonna. It's gonna be Wemby. Then it's gonna be either Bam or Gobert, and then
Gobert's not making the top 3 again, bro.
Gobert's gonna make top 3 again, bro.
They can't do it for basketball. Like the amount of
People said he wasn't gonna win number 4 last year, and then look what happened. He went out there and won number 4.
Yeah, but that Lucas step back did irreparable damage to his the view on basketball in him. Even like deserved or not, like I don't think it's deserved. But like Draymond Green's hate, like as well as like people saying that like you saw like I don't know if you saw Chauncey Billups.
I don't think anybody listens to Draymond Green's hate. Draymond's opinion on his podcast or on YouTube in general is not nobody listens to that shit.
I don't know if you saw Chauncey Billups the other day. Not to digress too much, but I don't know if you saw Chauncey Billups the other day on some podcast. He was like the fact that a player like Rudy Gobert can win Defense Player of the Year, but every NBA team targets him and wants to take him on the perimeter is like the state of basketball today. Like he was like talking
at the same time, he has the lowest any like in the league. He has like against him, players have the lowest field goal percentage when shooting the ball at the rim. So I don't get where like they might be like, oh, let me go and target him. Like, bro, you're not scoring on him if you get to the rim. Like, it's not gonna happen. Target him all you want.
I agree with you.
These people don't. I'll tell you what it is. They don't actually watch Wolves games. If they turn on 3 games in a row, they'll be like, all right, damn, this dude knows what he's doing. What do you do against KD in the playoffs? He fully stripped KD outside the perimeter, like 4 different occasions. It'll happen. He'll be top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. I'll put money. No way. I'll put money on it.
Because the same people that you're saying don't watch basketball are the same. Again, I think Gobert is the best defensive player in basketball. Like I think he's number 1, but like I don't think the same people who you think are gonna criticize are criticizing him right now, and like the same people you're saying don't watch Wolves games are the same people that vote. Like we don't really get a vote.
Okay, so if we're going based off of who's voting from the past seasons, you know that a guard is most likely not going to make a top 3 in it. Other than that year Marcus Smart one, like a guard isn't going to get that top 3. Maybe Herb Jones will make a top 3. That could be a potential. Bam, the only way I see Bam winning is if the Heat get a top 5 seed in the East, and I don't think that's going to happen. And the only way for that to happen would be for Jimmy to play, and I don't think that's going to happen either. Like a lot of these things of like players having to play next season, they did it for like 1 season out of the past like 10 seasons they've been in the league.
Do you think seed matters that much? Because Wemby got second. You think seed matters that much for Defense Player of the Year? Because Wemby got.
I think if you want to win it, you have.
Oh, there's no way Gobert wins it.
We're talking about top 3. Wins it. Yeah, he's winning it. I don't think he'll win. He's probably not going to get his 5th one. But even like Wemby averaged close to $4 a game. Like if you average close to $4 a game, you have to be top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Like that's insane. There's no player in the league that's close to $4 a game.
Because off rip, my top 3 next season, I'll just say right now, if we're doing a prediction episode, I'll say this.
Mine's Jokic, Embiid, and Wemby.
No. I'm saying for a Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, okay.
But my top 3 is gonna be Wemby, Bam, and Chet. But I don't necessarily see a way that Gobert is gonna crack that. I don't think Gobert is gonna be higher than AD next season Defensive Player of the Year. I'll say that much.
I think that it will be Wemby, Gobert, and then Bam.
There's no way they vote for him again, bro. They can't do it. Like
they will, bro. If he's as good as he was last season, they're gonna have to vote for him. Like it's gonna be like the only way they won't vote for him is the only way they won't vote for him is the only way they won't vote for him is if you see him like fully just fall off the face of the earth as a defender. Bro is a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. There's no way that someone is not voting for him. And the Wolves are going to be nationally televised 15 times next season.
Yeah, 18
so people are going to see him.
Like this is going to be the craziest thing I've said in my life. But it's like how they just didn't vote Braun for top 3 MVP some years because of how dominant he was. Not to say that Gobert and Braun are on like the same level of anything, but like it's like voter fatigue is real, and like especially for like a player who
voter fatigue has slowly started to slow down now.
You think so?
Yeah, especially with like how many times Jokic has started winning MVP. I feel like it's starting to die down. Like at one point, like I feel like voters have kind of realized like. Because like, there's been so many times they could have just given Luka the award, just because of voter fatigue, and been like, "All right, Luka, you take the award," or they could have given Shea the award because of voters fatigue, or like they could have done some like when Giannis won like Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. Like or like they could have been like, oh, voter fatigue, let me give it to someone else. But I feel like now they're like, all right, let me give it to the person that actually deserves it. Like, because if they don't, they're gonna get more hate for it.
Yeah, I just don't think like Gobert's impact on the game is like it's only evident if you it's only
not
evident
seen
if you watch the
unless you
game.
watch the games. Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
you're
bro
not.
still averages like 2.5 blocks a game. It's
No,
like
I agree. But like you're not gonna look on social media and see Gobert highlights. Like you're gonna see him getting crossed. So like
yeah.
so people have this perception that he's just not like a good defender when he is. Anyways, long discussion aside, I think our
Yeah,
top three is pretty much the same. We can kind of just discuss the top three at length.
I
But
just have
besides,
Jokic, Embiid, Wemby, and then you probably have Jokic, Embiid, and an AD.
yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
I feel like number 1 and 2, like there's really nothing to say for both of them. Like you guys watch basketball, you know how dominant both. Like Embiid was on pace to average like 36 points a game, and he was gonna win MVP if he didn't get hurt. Jokic is a 3-time MVP winner, won the finals, like a triple double machine. You haven't seen somebody as dominant in the triple double like game since Russ, and then now you have Jokic doing what he does, and he's gonna continue doing the same thing for the next 4 or 5 years. So
yeah, they're both different. Like I think Embiid would be the best center in the league in like any other era. But he's just going up not any other era, that's crazy. But like he's just going up against like he's like Jokic is so efficient. That's the crazy part. Not even just like the fact that he gives you 25, 10, and like 10 and 10. It's the fact that like he's so efficient doing it. Like when I was watching Westbrook do it, the critique on Westbrook obviously was like, oh, like he'll give you 31, 10, and 10, but he'll shoot 45% from the field. Like Jokic is doing it on like 65% true shooting. Like he's crazy. And like I think he's already a top 20 player of all time, top 15 player of all time. And like honestly, like he's gonna go down one of those players that like ends up underrated just because they don't popularize themselves enough or promote themselves enough. Because if he had the PR that like Luka has or like
it would be insane.
Wemby has, bro, he might be the GOAT, bro. Like like he like he doesn't care about that stuff, which is respectable.
Yeah,
but he's number one, and he's number one by so much.
Yeah, I just feel like that top, that 1 and 2, like they're so dominant, bro. Like it's insane. Like you can't guard them. They can carry their teams. It's the only thing I wish Embiid didn't do as much. He kind of got exposed a little in the beginning of the Olympics, is the free throw shooting, but like it's part of his game, and he still does get up 36 points a game, so you can't really blame him for doing it. That's how the league is now. So
if you don't want to check the free throws, don't foul them. Like
exactly. Like that's the only way because that's the only way they're able to stop him in any form. So that's what happens. But so to end off this episode, we're gonna just kind of briefly touch on like the NBA schedule that just released. We saw the schedule release, and like a lot of years, you see the Lakers prioritize. You see the NBA prioritize the Lakers for the most nationally televised games in the league when they were the 7th seed in the Western Conference last season. The 7th seed in the Western Conference, and then they end up getting 27 nationally televised games when like the team that went to the Western Conference Finals only ends up getting 15. Like I feel like the hype, like I know you have LeBron, like oh my god, LeBron's playing with his son now, but I feel like the league is kind of moving away. Like the storyline for that isn't as interesting in my opinion anymore. Like I feel like the league now is shifting focus towards the younger players. You got to showcase that younger generation, like the Wemby, the Ant. I want to see Ja on live television, like the Zion, players like that, Shea, like the Thunder, like players like that. Or even teams like the Celtics, like the team that just won the championship. Like give them give them the most nationally televised games. Like what's your take on that? Like do you think 27 is deserved? Like I'm assuming you probably think 27 is not deserved.
No. Like okay, there's only one situation where it would be deserved, and like that's if this is LeBron's last season.
Yeah, it's not.
And if this is LeBron's last season and people want to see him, then like put him on. But like Bronny's not playing games. Like
he's probably going to spend majority of his time in the summer league.
Yeah, like a G League. Yeah, he's not like
he's not gonna summer league.
Like he's not gonna get real game time unless like they're done by 50 points. Maybe like game 1, like on like TNT, like they'll play him for like 2 minutes just to get him and Bron on the court at the same time, just as like a PR thing. but like, bro, like the Thunder were the 1 seed in the West last season, have probably the deepest roster in basketball, have last season's number 2 finisher in MVP, number 2 finisher in most improved, or something, not number 2, but like a top like 5 finisher in most improved, number 2 finisher in rookie of the year, number 1 finisher in coach of the year, and have the 11th most national TV games in the league, like one more than the Spurs. Like this is like it. I don't know. Like I think people view it as kind of like a fluke season because of how young they are, and I guess maybe they want to see it again. But with so much intrigue around like the Thunder in general, and how good they are as a team, like even the Timberwolves having like 18 and like the Suns having like 20 or like 21, like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like yeah, like Devin Booker is cool and like KD is like cool, but like they're not retiring anytime soon. You want to give them more publicity than they already get on House of Highlights. Like play, but trying to promote the game, and like we should put good basketball on television, not just like star players just become more star players.
Yeah, exactly. That's like my whole take as well. And like I want to know, like, do you think there's a bottom 15 team in the league that deserves like more shine on the big stage and internationally televised, like kind of what they can accomplish in the future or something like that?
Yeah, Orlando for sure. Like,
yeah.
I think Orlando.
Orlando definitely, yeah.
Because Orlando is 21st national televised games this season with 5. Wow. Like, you're telling me the Lakers have 22 more national televised games than like Paolo? Like from what I'm hearing like about the Olympics, they want to market Paolo as like the next face of the Olympics team after like the big dogs go away. Like, and the way they do that is by giving him in like his best supporting cast ever, like 5 chances for the world to actually see him play. Like no one's paying for League Pass in 2024, and like and no one's gonna like search up Magic games on Stream East. Like like the best way to promote like these teams is to get them on national TV as much as you can. And like they're gonna do a better job in the future of it when it goes to Amazon and NBC, because they're gonna have one or two national TV games per day.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't mean you have to neglect them this season. And I think Orlando is one of those teams that are gonna like surprise a lot of people in the East and maybe surprise the NBA, I guess, too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Magic, like, they have a very solid team, and Paulo is such a dominant force, and he's so young. Like, those are the kind of people that you have to give nationally televised games to. I'm not sure how many games. Do you know off the top of your head by any chance how many games the Grizzlies have?
I can look. I think it's not that many. They have they have 9.
I feel like they should be in the range of like the 15 to 20 as well. Like that team is a very exciting team, especially when you have them fully healthy together. Like, and like with the excitement of like the team being injured for the past year and Ja coming back, especially with like that storyline too, I feel like the NBA could have kind of taken advantage of that a little bit more, and even potentially like put like a Ja opening night game on national television. Like that would have been pretty sick. Like that's something that they could have done as well. So I don't really understand, like they don't really, I feel like they don't think about like they could really profit off of so many different storylines, but they just want to give it to LeBron or the team that people watch the most, I guess. But I feel like a lot of people would tune in to like a Grizzlies opening night game with Ja coming back. Like I think
like
that
the rich mentality of they're already so famous, so people are gonna tune in to see him. But like that's not how it should work. Like we should be giving people the fame. Like people are gonna tune in to watch LeBron anyways. People are gonna find a way to watch LeBron.
Yeah.
Like people aren't gonna find a way to watch like those rising stars that like the league can easily promote. Like this is why the league might suffer with the next generation, because once LeBron league, like, you don't see these players getting marketed enough besides Luka. So what, Luka's gonna carry the entire league? Wemby's gonna carry the entire league? Like we need more players than just 2 people.
Yeah, exactly. That's like perfectly well said. But yeah, that was just us touching on like the schedule release a little bit. And opening night, the Lakers actually do open up against the Wolves, so that would be really exciting. Gonna see Anthony Edwards maybe dunk on LeBron, dunk on Bronny a little. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, stay tuned for our next episode, which is gonna be on Sunday. And yeah, we're gonna probably end up doing another segment, and I think we'll probably get back into doing the guarantee segment that we did last week. That was a pretty cool segment, so we're definitely gonna come back to that, and then start doing other segments until the season starts. So just keep sticking with us, and we'll also get some football content out to you guys as well. Like probably do something like a fantasy draft, sort of like that, as the fantasy season's coming to a start. So just keep sticking with us, and yeah, stay tuned for next week. Peace.
Peace.